My name is Mamiya. I'm an assistant director in the Holmes Cultural Diversity Center. My work centers around LGBTQ plus initiatives, international programs, and then also some initiatives for Latinx initiatives. So, um, so first of all, our center is not directly like working um, with the sexual assault, but we do a lot of collaborations with other offices to raise the awareness of the issue. So, for example, we're collaborating with student counseling services because we are working with diverse student populations, and then there are definitely certain needs that are important for specific demographics. So I'm working with them, or we are working with them to provide some support groups or sessions specifically for those groups based on their identities. And then whenever we try to do the trainings or workshop for faculty, staff, and students, we collaborate with the Title IX office to raise awareness of like how you can report incidents and then what kind of information that you need to know to deal with those issues at the university level. I think for students or anybody, I think it's important to know what's available on campus in terms of like resources and then what you need to do and then processes. Um, and then also I would say that, I mean, you can definitely, we need to try to do some efforts and then things to prevent sexual assault, but at the same time, it can happen to anybody at any circumstances. So I just don't want people to blame themselves just because that happened to them. And then I don't want people to think that that's because of them. I think it's definitely the fault is um, from the perpetuator. So I just want to make sure that first. But again, like we're having some programs with other offices. So again, support groups for, let's say, I'm usually at the support group for international students,
Mhm.
and then their understanding of sexual assault is a little bit different because of their cultures and then how things work in the United States not usually apply to their countries and then where they come from. So we definitely need to raise awareness of those situations here so that they understand what sexual assault is, how to report, and things like that. And other recommendations, this is just coming from like my personal, I guess, knowledge or experience, for students to participate in different like social events, they should have their friends with them and having contact with like some strangers. Of course, they need to be careful. You need to be around it by your, friends that you trust. And, those things are very important, I think. So I guess our center usually refers students to, let's say, student counseling services or Title IX coordinator, probably you had an interview with already, or deans of students office, right? And I think for students, they should know how to report first, but also I think students should understand like what are the consequences of reporting because let's say as a professional staff, I need to report it regardless of circumstances. So like they need to know that if they come to me and if they want to share about information, we need to make sure that I need to report to the dean's of the office or the upper level of the university. So the information is going to be out. So
Mhm.
and that's something that students should know. And then also the I think important thing for us specifically is that like we have different student groups. They have friend like a mentorship program. So we are using those spaces to raise the awareness, which is also important because again there are certain specific needs and then experiences of certain groups of students. So we're trying to adjust the information and then trying to provide information for them. I already mentioned it, but I think support groups and then even like our student groups can be very helpful support for students who already experience those assaults. So, I mean, they can definitely build relationships with other students or staff that they can trust, and then maybe they can get like some emotional support too. But also, again, like being in those spaces, we are intentionally trying to provide resources too. So I think they can certainly go to the professionals like student counselors, the Title IX coordinator, um, yeah, things like that. Yeah, so I think I can speak specifically on the LGBTQ plus community. I think the issue is that a lot of people or students, if they experience sexual assault, because of their I think surrounding or the community that they're in, some people are not out. That means that they haven't shared their, gender identity or sexual orientation with other people. So they're more likely, uh, less likely to like disclose that information with other people. So that will result in like them struggling by themselves, not really reaching out to different resources and help. And then that's why like LGBTQ plus community, they're more likely to have face mental issues. So that's a very specific experience for the LGBTQ plus communities that they're not really reaching out to get some help because they're afraid of disclosing their identities. Resources, of course, the health center, but also health promotion and wellness. They do a lot of programs to raise awareness of those issues, and they're usually on the job field, distributing like information. Their programs, I think, they are very good at providing information with very interactive ways. Um, and then also, I would recommend like students to I guess reach out to Title IX office to not only reporting incidents, but I think they also provide information around those like sexual assaults, domestic violence, discrimination, and those issues. So if students wants to know about that, they can definitely help you with that. So I think in general, I think marginalized communities, again, like I talked about LGBTQ plus community, but I think they're definitely less likely to reach out to some help and then also utilize resources just because they have the sense of like maybe shame or, just thinking about the consequences of reporting or sharing the information with other people because um, I guess they're afraid of like how other people around them or the institution or society how those things react to
Mhm.
the incident, and then they're thinking of afraid of like how that will affect their experiences in the future. So I guess our work is really, um, I mean, I just keep saying like raising the awareness, but I think definitely more effort to raise awareness because again like they're already not utilizing the resources, and then that's like our basic understanding. So like it's kind of like a basic information, but we need to push more and more to those students to well, until they actually be aware of those resources and then how sexual assault and those incidents could be like serious life-threatening experiences to them. So, I mean, we're definitely like collaborating with other offices because um, we think that they specifically need those resources.